Hi, and welcome to the 2023 Twinsburg High School men's soccer parent meeting. The good news is if you're watching this video, that means you've already signed up for Remind 101, the parent version of that, and you have access to the parent team website for important information. So this will be a brief overview of what's happening in May, June, July, and August, and the important dates that you need to make sure you're aware of. I'm using the summer calendar, which is found on the website, and you can follow along with your own calendar if you need to, or just look at the one on the screen. So first of all, June 1st is the beginning of our off season. So beginning of our preseason, and we have paperwork that's going to be due on the 1st. So around the 1st, the athletic department is going to roll over the final forms for the new year. For those of you that attend Twinsburg City Schools and your sons played a sport, you already have a Final Forms account, and I'll explain to you what that means in a second. For those of you that have not attended Twinsburg City Schools, you will get a link sent on Remind 101 for you to start your Final Forms account. And Final Forms is where we keep all our waivers, physicals, all the forms that the state of Ohio says you have to sign in order to play high school sports. So if you already have an account or played with us last year, on the rollover date, you'll have to just simply roll over your account by signing your athlete up for soccer, and we'll send a link out telling you how to do that when we get closer to that date. You can't do it now because we're still in spring sports. However, you'll then have to fill out all new forms for the 2023 season. That will be the EMA, the waivers, the physicals, and all that. A little different than last year. We are going to expect that all the waivers, all the appropriate forms that need to be filled out will be filled out before your athlete can participate in summer soccer. So when we get down here to the 19th and we start actually training and doing things in the summer, we're going to need that new paperwork filled out. The exception to that will be things like your physical, your athlete's physical has a due date, and as long as you've scheduled it and re-upped it, you'll be okay. And also the fees that we charge to play high school sport, the pay to participate fees, and those won't be due until we decide on what team everyone's on and whether or not your athletes made the team. So again, first big date, Thursday, June 1st, start taking a look for that. That Remind 101 text message to you, an email from the coaching staff, announcements that you need to update your athletes' final forms. And again, we'll keep reminding you across this time period that needs to get done. We're even going to bring laptops to our youth camp and fitness sessions so the guys can sign off on the forms they need to sign off on. And our goal is to have everyone with new forms done by the 9th. Okay, second thing is we have the Twinsburg AC camp on June 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Traditionally, our players work that camp. There will be a link sent out to the players to sign up. There's no cost to the players to work the camp. They're volunteering their time, and we just use the sign-up document to get a T-shirt order for them and to have an idea how many kids are coming to work the camp. That'll go out the last week in May, maybe even sooner than that. And all they have to do is just click off and say, yeah, I plan on coming and working the camp to get their T-shirt. And that will take place at the stadium. Again, there's no cost or anything to that to you guys. They just play. We will start fitness that same week on June 5th. So before the youth camp starts, we'll be doing fitness together 7:30 to 9 a.m. that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that Friday of that week. The idea is to get our guys flexible and aerobically fit and to see where we are fitness-wise before we get too deep into the summer. Also, we have a new policy this summer that we're not going to allow guys to participate in summer matches or training until they pass a basic fitness test. And that basic fitness test is an 11 on the beep test. So if they're not fit, they can come in that week and work to get themselves fit, and they can take the beep test any one of these days they want to. And in fact, any date on the calendar that we have high school coaches at, a player can take the beep test and pass it. And once they passed it, they can participate in the training. Otherwise, the dates on the calendar here are just dates for them to come in and work on their fitness. I know this sounds a little bit harsh, but it serves a couple important purposes. One, if guys are injured, we're not playing them because obviously if they're injured, they can't pass the fitness test, and that will cut down on injuring guys further and overtraining. And second, we have a lot of guys signed up to try out for soccer, and there's no way we can potentially give them all minutes and meaningful matches and do things in the summer. So we want to make sure that the guys that are showing up are fit and can participate. So it'll help get the guys fit sooner, help our training be brighter, and make sure our players are safe. So again, we start doing fitness this week, and they have an opportunity to take that fitness test anytime during the summer they need to. So when we get into the end of June, it's going to look something like this. The state of Ohio has changed the rules. We now can train 6 players at a time on the field. In fact, with two goals, we could train as many as 12, but they can't train together. They're just groups of 6 with a coach. So you'll notice that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you'll see player training 9 to 11 a.m. It says at THS varsity only. The coaching staff will be inviting players to come to these training sessions. We have a lot of guys signed up for soccer, and initially our concern is to work with seniors and juniors, and within that group of juniors and seniors, returning varsity letter winners, to work on individual skills and to help us get better as a team. Being realistic, over the course of the summer, we're going to have a large number of guys going on vacation, people having to go do things, maybe even miss because of work. So we kind of suspect, as we invite these 6 players into work, these 12 guys into work, that we'll be looking at a wide variety of players. I can tell you right now, we have approximately 8 keepers in our program. So all our keepers, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, are going to get a chance to do individual training. We'll send invites out to players later in the year. Probably we'll start figuring out who can come when this week of the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then send out invites to guys on Sundays. And if your player gets invited to train in one of those sessions, great. If he can't train, not a big deal. Then you'll notice too that we'll also be having fitness. These fitness sessions are going to be remote, meaning that we're going to publish on Sunday a workout. That workout will include 2 days of fitness, about an hour each day, and then be things like a 5K run, some tempo running, push-ups, sit-ups, stuff just to work on general fitness. The players will get it through the Remind 101 account, and then they just have to click off that they did it when they do it. And they don't have to do it on Monday and Thursday. They can do it on Sunday when they get it. They can do it over the course of the week, Saturday, whenever their schedule allows them to. But we are going to expect them to do this fitness and keep their fitness level up for the summer. So this will be an important part of how we monitor the guys doing fitness. We'll reiterate to them and reinforce with them that this is not something we just want them submitting saying that they did. We need them to do the fitness. Then you notice that on Tuesdays and Fridays, it says training all teams. This will be at THS or the stadium, depending on where we can get the guys at. And so everyone in the program, freshman through 12th grade, can come up on Tuesday and Friday in the morning and train with us. Again, this is totally optional. All these events are optional. And they can come up and we'll work with them. We'll put them through a training session, some by position, some team stuff. We'll have a topic each day that we're going to be going over. We use something called periodization, tactical periodization. So what we're training, how we're accessing things will be based on that model. But again, it's an opportunity for the guys to get some touches on the ball, learn our system, start training, and get ready for matches. So then Tuesday nights, you'll see we have varsity friendlies at the stadium. Tuesday nights, and it's important, it's just for these nights, we're bringing in some big Division I teams for our guys to play against. And those teams have requested that they just want to play varsity on varsity. So we will not be inviting the entire program to come to these matches. This is by invite only, and it'll start off with returning letter winners. And we'll build our rosters based on that and the depth chart. The kids have all filled out a survey telling us where they would like to try out, where they think they'd like to play. And so we'll use that to kind of build a depth chart and start inviting players in. Again, initially, I imagine it'll be just returning varsity letter winners, but as the summer goes on, we'll have guys missing. There might be guys that are injured, guys that don't make the fitness test. And so we'll be dipping into other players, but I anticipate this being primarily juniors and seniors and some sophomores. And then you notice on Friday night, we have team friendlies again at the stadium, 5 to 9. And this is all three teams, all 4 grades, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Depending on the teams that are coming out, we'll send invites out for guys to come play those nights. Traditionally on Friday nights, we have teams that send their JV, their varsity. We have some schools that send their freshman teams. And we think that most nights we'll be able to get guys matches for those games. Again, there's no cost for this. The kids just come up and they play. We are they are to wear their Twinsburg training kits, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. But basically, they can just wear any white and blue shirt they have. And we supply the referees and the opponents. They don't play all the way through from 5 to 9. Most players will get to 40-minute matches that night. It can be spread out over time. If you have any questions about that when we get into June, feel free to email me, and I'll be glad to answer them. So after a couple weeks, 4 weeks of that, 5 weeks of that, we then get into our camp season. So first of all, on the week of the 7th, 8th, and 9th, our seniors have requested that they go to Hiram's team camp. I'm sorry, Tiffin's team camp on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And this is something we've done over the last 4 or 5 years, and the kids have had a real good time with it. I will send out a video supplied to us by Tiffin when they have it ready with information about the camp. We are not involved in the camp. The students, athletes register with Tiffin. They drive themselves out to Tiffin. The Tiffin grad assistants work the dorms and watch the kids. We're not, the Twinsburg coaching staff is not involved in this. So again, if your son is okay traveling and going to Tiffin and being around other guys, fantastic. If not, not a big deal, right? So we'll get that information out to you guys from Tiffin when we get it. The cost is relatively low, $200, $300. And the boys stay in the dorms. It's fun. Our guys really have enjoyed it in the past. But again, it's not for everybody. Anyone can go, 9th grade through 12th grade. But again, it's definitely a situation where we're not, the coaching staff and adults are not there. They're with the college coaching staff for those 3 days. The other camp is our own team camp, which will run from July 24th to July 28th. And we split the camp into 2 groups. We have what's called Advanced Camp, and this is from 7:30 to 9 a.m. And this will be primarily our varsity players and some of our older players. And then we have the regular camp, 9 to 11 a.m., and that's primarily freshmen and sophomores. Sometimes it's some juniors and seniors. They can't make the early training time. And we put the guys through a regular preseason training system. So there'll be a lot of technical repetition on the ball, fitness, small-sided games, getting them ready for tryouts. We might try to bring a team in to play against on a Friday night, but we'll see what that looks like. Most schools are already entering their camp season and won't be available to play games that week. All right, so then we come into our tryout window. And before we get tryouts, again, remember, there's a lot of dates here. And this is because the state's given us some extra training days to work with the guys. If you have to go on vacation, you have to go someplace, please go, enjoy yourself. We want you to have a normal summer. But if you can attend these activities, get up there, good stuff's going to happen for you. You'll get fit, you'll work on the ball, you'll learn our system. And anytime the coaches can take a look at you in a competitive game, that's a good thing. However, if you can't pass the beep test, you're not doing any of this, right? So if you don't pass the beep test on the 19th, you're just running. And then you can show up on the 20th in the morning training session and we'll administer a beep test. And if you fail it, you can just continue to work on your fitness. You can come that night to the stadium and we'll administer another beep test to you. And again, you can just keep taking it until you pass it, but until you can get to that level 11, which for those who aren't familiar with the beep test, it's an aerobic and anaerobic physical test. And a level 11 is a basic level of fitness. It's by far not incredibly impossible to reach that at all. Most of our guys were pretty close or passed it last year in August. We're just asking them to do it a little bit earlier. All right, so let's take a look at tryouts then. So you'll notice the tryouts have a 31st date here and a 1st. The official day of tryouts is August 1st. If we have rain delays or anything and we lose one of these 15 days earlier in the year, we can move them over here to the 31st. That's why we put 2 tryout dates. The guys don't have to try out both dates. If we're offering tryouts on the 31st, they can do the tryout on the 31st. If they can't do it on the 31st, they can do it on the 1st. The first day of tryouts is a fitness test. There'll be more information about that later. We'll rank the guys based on their fitness scores. We have changed it from last year. Briefly, they're doing a new push-up, the new military push-up. It involves pulling your hands out to the side and then pulling them together and then doing your push-up. It's a little harder, but it's a little more accurate. We're getting rid of sit-ups. We're going to do core plank. We're getting rid of the 40-yard dash, and we're doing just the beep test. So the guys will get a chance to see that over the course of the summer, and we'll make sure that they're fit. But we'll rank them out on their fitness scores, have them do some small-sided games, play a full-sided scrimmage, and then pick our players. So if we have to make cuts, those cuts will take place on Wednesday the 2nd. We'll then scrimmage Thursday at home versus Mayfield. We have a triple header. All three teams will play. At that point, we'll probably just be split into two teams, a varsity and JV pool. We'll then train again on Friday. At this point, we'll be training in three teams, a varsity team, a JV team, and a JVB team. And then we have our final scrimmage against US and Lakewood on Saturday. At that point, we'll pick our teams, and our teams will start training the week of August 7th. Just quick heads up, we've kind of changed our format around. So Coach Critchlow will be coaching our JV white team, and Coach Chase will be coaching our JV blue team. And the JV white team, JVB team as it's called, we've tried to eliminate Saturday games so that the guys can train during the week, and then the JV white players that have a good week can get invited to play on the JV team on Saturdays. And we're going to be training teams a little more separately and a little more based on their skill level than we've done in the past. There'll be a lot more repetition and fitness on the JV white team, and the JV blue team will spend more time training with the varsity team and working on more advanced tactics. And then lastly, on the 14th, we start after school's practice, and then our first game is on the 19th. So again, I think the calendar is not self-explanatory, but pretty clear. Just want to make sure I went over it with you guys. As far as big parent things, you've got the biggest hurdle. You've got Into Remind, and you're getting information from us, and that's the big piece. We'll, again, send out information to you about Final Forms. All the important stuff will go on the team webpage. This is it right now under construction. And so if we have to do Final Forms, there'll be a link here for Final Forms. There'll be a link for registering for the team camp at Tiffin. All the information will go through this website, and you'll have access to it. We'll mimic the same stuff on the classroom for the players. A lot of the stuff in the classroom is just soccer stuff, tactics, fitness, motivational things that we want the boys to know, stuff that parents don't necessarily need to deal with. But if you're interested, feel free to email me. I'll be glad to forward you the stuff that we're doing if you need to take a look at it. But in short, if you're getting the Remind 101s and you found the team meeting link, you got all the information you need. We'll just send out dates and due dates to you as they come up. I think it's important if you have questions that you contact me directly. My cell number is 330-620-6230. Please give me a call. I'll be glad to talk to you. Or you can email me at mlally, that's MLALLY, the letters CSD. I'm sorry, Lally at twinsburgcsd.org. That's mlally at twinsburgcsd.org. That's all the teachers' emails, their first initial, their first name and their last name, and Twinsburg CSD. Feel free to email me. I'll be glad to talk to you individually. Love to meet you about your individual player and talk about where they fit in. And again, any information we're putting out as far as depth charts and signups will appear on the website, and you'll get a remind saying, hey, that stuff's out there. So step one, after this meeting, you're probably going to get a remind in a couple weeks saying, hey, our tryout roster is on the team website. Take a look and see if your kid's name there and it's spelled properly. And that way we get an accurate count of who's trying out. And then you expect probably another remind and a link to this website saying, hey, the team store is open. And if you would like to purchase shorts, socks, a pullover, a t-shirt for your player for the summer, that's where you'll get that information from as well. And we'll just keep sending things out as they pop up. Again, it's kind of important to remember that the official day of tryouts is August 1st. So yes, in the summer, we want the guys to be at everything they possibly can be. It just makes sense. We're giving up our time. We want guys to be there to get better. But people have vacations, including my coaches, and people come in and out of summer training. Just keep contacting us, letting us know what's going on. We'll work it out. But that real drop dead date is August 1st. If by August 1st, you don't have your paperwork in, your son's not attending training, that's when we start to have some problems, and because we're making cuts. As of yesterday, we were at 73 guys potentially playing high school soccer. That number can go up or down. We need about 54 guys for 3 teams. So that is a sizable number of kids who potentially could be cut or may not make the team they want to make and choose not to play. Traditionally, that number goes down because some guys choose to play other sports. Some guys choose to go to other schools. Some guys just look at the fitness component and say, hey, this isn't my cup of tea. There's a lot of things that are going on. But in the end, as I mentioned to the boys in the team meeting, it's a competitive situation. So we want guys to work hard. We want them to commit to the program. We want them to do the right things, but we also want to make sure they get as much information as they can get from the coaching staff. So please call, email, talk to us. If you hear anything that doesn't sound right, and we will work with you to get the right information and meet with your player and hopefully get them orientated, going in the way we both want them to go. So thanks for listening to the meeting, and I'm sure, see you either at a summer game or at an indoor game. Thanks.